Man, this seems like really fucking serious. All right. We'll start on a serious note then.
Now we're
Why
gonna get
not?
to the victim
All right, this one's by Jake, and he always tells it how it is, so I love watching his stuff.
testimonies here, starting with Chloe. This is probably gonna be the toughest part of this, okay? So embrace yourself. There are thousands of survivors who could have provided evidence to our inquiry team. Below is a summary of some of the testimony provided by our brave witnesses who spoke to the inquiry hearings. Some of the witnesses have to remain anonymous for their own safety. It begins with Chloe. Throughout her early childhood, Chloe, which I'm assuming is a pseudonym, was popular at school, performed well academically, and enjoyed an active social life. Although her parents separated when she was young, she describes her early upbringing as relatively stable. Following the separation, full custody of Chloe and her older brother was awarded to their father despite his alcoholism. That's a rare occurrence. Her mother, on the other hand, was often absent from her life and became homeless following the separation. It was most likely because this woman was most likely suffering with mental health problems by the sounds of it. Chloe recalls a generally secure and supportive home environment under the care of her father. However, following his sudden death just before her 10th birthday, Jesus Christ, as if that wasn't enough tragedy for a
I know,
she moved in with her mother and her mother's new husband, a man she describes as a pedophile by whom she was sexually abused. Chloe's mother caught her husband assaulting Chloe on many occasions, but did little to stop it. This is women. On one occasion, Chloe's mother caught her husband in the shower with Chloe, and instead of intervening, she closed the door and walked out. At this time, Chloe was 10 years old. The abuse soon escalated to rape. Chloe's stepfather supplied her with alcohol and cigarettes to keep her quiet. She began smoking cannabis. Around the same time, Chloe started truanting and spending time in the local town center with a friend unsupervised. She describes groups of Muslim men, primarily Pakistanis, aged 20 to over 50, showing them attention, including wolf whistling and buying them alcohol. Many were taxi drivers who would take the girls into their cars and drive them around the town. At this stage, there was no sexual abuse, and although men's behavior was clearly inappropriate, Chloe and her friend, then in the final year of primary school, enjoyed being treated like adults. Grooming soon intensified. The provisions of alcohol and takeaways was accompanied by emotional manipulation with the men, many of whom were related to one another, presenting themselves as sympathetic friends to Chloe. Chloe describes this process as them mapping out, are you vulnerable, are you a vulnerable person? Physical contact, including kisses and massages became increasingly common, and this is also becoming increasingly harder to read. Meanwhile, the abuse by her stepfather at home worsened, and her mother was all but absent as a guardian. Fuck me. At this time, Chloe had an aunt and uncle who lived nearby, and she often sought refuge with them. She had spent holidays with them during her earlier childhood and felt that she could trust them. On one occasion, she visited them while truanting before returning home and spending the day there while her mother and stepfather were at work. To Chloe's surprise, her uncle arrived at her house unannounced an hour later, and she invited him inside. After a brief conversation, Chloe's uncle sexually assaulted her. Chloe resisted, and he relented and left. She told her mother about the assault, and her mother reported it to the police. The police accused Chloe of lying. Me? And no further action was taken. Until this incident, she had regarded her uncle as one of the best people in her life. Afterwards, there were no adults left that Chloe could confide in or seek support from. Increasingly isolated,
what in the hell?
Became more deeply involved with the groups of Muslim men she encountered in the town center. One evening, Chloe's friend suggested that they travel to a nearby town where one of the men had a hotel room. They were picked up by the man who was drunk and under the influence of drugs, and taken to the hotel. When they arrived, hotel staff saw them, but they did not intervene. In the room, the girls were given a potent strain of cannabis, which left Chloe, then 11, absolutely smashed. Chloe's friend was taken into another room by a group of men, and Chloe was groped by the man who remained. Chloe resisted, and he hit her. The man did not attempt to sexually assault her again, and instead threw the girls, both of whom were still intoxicated, out of the hotel and refused to drive them back to their hometown. They were forced to walk. It was around midnight. Chloe did not want to go back to her home as she feared her mother would beat her for being out late, so stayed with her friend. In the early hours of the morning, Chloe was collected from her friend's house by the police after her mother reported her missing. Chloe lied to the police and her mother about where she had been. Chloe's mother grounded her for a month, meaning she was stuck at home with her predatory stepfather, a period she describes as torture. After the month passed, Chloe arranged to see her friend, who boasted that she had a new boyfriend. Chloe left the house to meet her, and the girls were picked up by the boyfriend, who was in fact a 25-year-old Indian man. Chloe initially thought the man was nice, posher Then the other men she had met in the town center, he took Chloe and her friend to a shop where he purchased a bottle of vodka before picking up one of his friends and taking the girls to a secluded location. During the journey, the men began pressuring their girls for sex. Chloe refused, stating that she was on her period, but the men replied that it did not matter. Night was falling when they arrived.
Holy
the boyfriend took Chloe's friend out of the car, leaving Chloe alone with the other man. He proceeded to rape her on the back seat. This incident took place in 2003. In 2022, Chloe took the two men to court, but neither were found guilty. From this moment, Chloe's life spiraled. At 12 years old, she began drinking heavily, smoking large amounts of cannabis, and taking harder drugs, including ecstasy. Not really that hard, to be honest with you. Anything to block it out of her mind. She would drink before school just to get through the day, and none of the teachers noticed a drunk student. She and her friend would spend school hours in the town center walking around until somebody picked them up in a car, somebody bought them alcohol, and somebody gave them drugs. There were times when Chloe would be missing for up to 3 days, during which time she was passed between taxis, drugged, abused, and raped. In every case, the perpetrators were Muslims and primarily Pakistani. On one occasion, Chloe was abducted by an abuser who was driving drunk and taken to a graveyard. He gave Chloe, still 12 years old.
I remember I saw a video like a couple months ago where it was about how people in like these countries, they basically just grape girls. That like if a girl is like not with her family, she just basically gets raped, and it's really up to the people, the families, to beat them up. Yeah, which is crazy. Yeah, it was a video about how they caught some guy from like some other family or something, like trying to take his sister away. So like they'll try to lead like the little kids away, and then that way they could do things with them, right? And it was just kind of a thing that happens, and you basically just have to camp them. You have to like camp the kids so that it doesn't happen. In the report, they've been doing exactly that to British girls for decades, and the government covered it up. The stupid thing about all of this is it was all so obvious. You know, like, that's the irritating thing about this, is it's like, yeah, obviously this would happen. It's like if you took people from a culture and country in which this happens at a high rate, in which like it's expected that you have to camp your kids so that they don't get snatched up by other people, like and it's just a thing that happens. It's not even like that crazy that it happens, right? But if you import people from that culture, that this would then start happening in your country, obviously, right? Like isn't that crazy that this was so obvious? And it's like, you know, for all of the people that, you know, complain about and like hear me, like I feel like I'm gonna be real. I feel like with all of the social justice shouting, like all of the constant, you know, oh, we need to like save children and stuff like that, right? It's like it sure seems like nobody gives a fuck when it comes to like the actual solution, which is we need to stop importing people from these cultures. I mean, it's obvious. And that's not to say, okay, like, so what they're going to say, I guarantee you this is what they're going to say. They're going to say like, well, actually, the dad and the uncle were not from those countries. That's what they're going to say. They're going to bring up some shit like that, right? Well, you know that there's white people that do it too. That's what they're going to say. And the thing is like, yeah, you're right, but why would you want more of it? Why would you want more? If the rates are higher because of the obvious cultural difference, why would you want more of it? It doesn't make any fucking sense. None of these people make any fucking sense. And it's so insane to me that we complain. Well, we gotta think of the children, guys. Like you know, the guns in the schools, and we can't have guns. The kids, no knives. They have all of this bullshit, but they don't actually care because they won't actually do the things that you need to do to actually prevent it. But the food, dude. I know it's crazy. You know what? It's like it's like you understand that kids are getting raped, right? And they're like, yeah, but I really like curry. It's like, bro, you fucking kidding me right now? You know, you could just learn that on the internet, right? Fucking hell, bro. This is infuriating. This is, guys, this is infuriating. Is this not infuriating? Like, what is this? Why are we like this? Fucking hell. Honestly, your next meal should be curry, bro. I have no problem with curry. But I have a problem with the idea that all cultures are made equal, because it's obviously not true. I'd say the thing that Asmongold said, but then I don't want to get banned. The spices must flow. There is a reason they keep wanting to come to, like, dude, right? Anyway, it's so tiring, man. It's so tiring, and guess what's gonna happen, guys? Guess what's gonna happen from this? Absolutely fucking nothing. That's what's gonna happen. I'll be shocked. You know, honestly, I'll take it. If I'm wrong and they actually do something about it, then fair enough, I'll take the L. Cultural relativism is the most destructive ideologies humanity has ever produced. You will not be taking any L's, Leaf. This was so odd. Dude, this is how incompetent our fucking government is. All the governments, not like specifically American, but like all of the governments, they're fucking, they're just retarded. Like, this is why I hate the government, because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like, basically ever. It's like if you did the exact opposite, it's like they do the exact opposite of the right thing consistently. It's actually insane that it keeps happening like this, right? And yeah, like cultural relatives, yeah, it's freaking ridiculous. It's very obvious that there are cultures that are just garbage. Like, I'm just being around. Like it's obvious. Everybody fucking knows this. But we have to play this little game where everybody's the same and everyone's okay. We gotta play this fucking stupid game so that we don't get banned. It's freaking so stupid.
Whiskey before forcing himself on her and raping her. He withdrew before ejaculation and forced the empty whiskey bottle into Chloe's vagina.
What the fuck?
Chloe admitted herself to A&E, but no questions were asked about how she had sustained such an injury.
Wait, are you fucking kidding me? You're telling me an 11-year-old girl goes to the hospital and she's like, I have glass in my vagina. And they're just like, oh, well, let's fix that real fast. Oh, okay. Well, you're fine now. You can go home. Like, what the fuck? Again, thank you for the 100. It's a flaw of humanity itself, repeated ad nauseum, almost on a biblical scale. Fluffy, thanks for the 300. This is the kind of thing that creates tyrants and the people who support tyrants to end this shit. Sapphire Ages, thank you for the 100. Powder Reddit tube. Dude, Fluffy, chat, have I not been saying this for months? Have I not been saying that, like, if this keeps happening, what's gonna happen is the second coming of Hitler is he's gonna come out. He's gonna be like, hey guys, by the way, I'm the reincarnation of Hitler, like, actually, and you know, we can solve this if you vote for me. And people will vote for him. Like, I'm not even joking. People, like, if this keeps happening at some point, like, the populace is gonna be like, we are so fed up with it, we'll do anything to solve this. We'll do anything to solve this. And that's what's gonna happen.
Examined, the glass was removed, and she was discharged. Chloe was questioned by police due to her absence on a number of occasions. Each time, she was asked where she had been, who she had been with, and what she had been doing.
We were about a 3 out of 10 for how bad the report. What the fuck?
She replied that she had been having.
Dude, we're about, like, I'm serious. You know what's gonna happen if they don't fix this shit? Like, you're looking at some real anarchy shit. Like, you're looking at, like, people just going full vigilante. We're gonna live in, like, the era of vigilante superheroes.
Sex with adult males in cars. Rather than opening an investigation.
Have you seen the lunatic woman that was laughing at this? Dude, I've seen so much. Dude, the demons aren't even fucking trying anymore. Like, I've seen, just in the last day, I've seen people laughing at this kind of stuff. I've seen people doing a new dance about doing a new Carmelo Anthony dance, like, about getting stabbed. Yeah, and then, like, a bunch of black people doing this dance on TikTok. It's actually fucking insane. We Asian Groiper Leaflit. Dude, I'm not really, but I don't want this stuff to happen. You know, I don't, but I'm just saying, dude, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and I've been saying it forever, man. Like, Carrot and vegetable, thank you for that 1,000. I was in Afghanistan too. These people have some sick customs regarding boys. Let's just say truck drivers get lonely AF. We were instructed we can't do anything about it. So again, here's the stupid thing, right? Here's the stupid thing. We know about it, and yet we're like, yeah, we could really use some of that cultural enrichment. Like, what the fuck? No. Oh my God. Can you sense my just exasperation? I'm just like, how in the fuck, bro? This is so freaking ridiculous. They're about to like invoke violence time. Like actually, like for real violence time when like people get so fed up. Liberalism is poison. Yeah, man. Communism is fucking poison too. All of this shit, dude. I'm telling you, it's all of this entitlement culture. All of this, well, you know, like all of humanity is the same and they deserve to live here because, you know, we were colonized. Bro, it's so annoying. It's so, you know what? America, the West were colonizers. Good. Because fuck them, dude, honestly. Fuck them. Like, good. Slide the Hedgehog, thank you so much for the 100. What's the end goal of this? What's to come out of this? There has to be a greater end goal, like actively censoring effort to silence makes them think they're not stupid. The greater end goal, I don't you know, honestly, I don't even know if maybe there is, maybe there's some foreign end goal that's like trying to take down America because I mean, if I was just to theorize, I mean, America is just so powerful that like if you were going to take over America, you would have to do it in some weird like cultural way. You can't really fight us militarily. We're just way too strong. It's like not even close. Cream Mark, thank you for the 500. A world in flame is preferable alternative to living among demons that prey on children. Well, all you do is watch and vote for it. Dude, that's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen. I mean, that's why I have stockpiles of food and I have a shit ton of ammo because I feel like shit's gonna happen. I don't want it to.
Pursuing her abusers, the police dismissed Chloe as a prostitute at 12 years old. She was 12 years old at this time, and the police had literally just dismissed her as being nothing but a prostitute. They asked her,
if this is the cost of liberty, maybe it was from the start. I don't want a tyrant, but then the tyrant would keep us safe from outsiders. The cost of liberty. No, not really. I don't think this is necessary. I don't think any of this is actually necessary to liberty. I think we just went full retard. That's all. Like, I think we're just too nice, I guess, you know?
whether she was consenting to the sexual activity, and despite Chloe telling them that she did not know the definition of the word consent, they reported that she had not, that she had been consenting, and that she was a 12-year-old prostitute. The police said this. The police said this. The police found Chloe as well as other missing children in cars with the gang members on multiple occasions, but let the gang members go on without so much as questioning them. On one occasion, Chloe was in the town center and was identified as a missing child by a police officer. Yeah, so you're identified as a missing child if you are a minor and you go missing for a certain period of time. However, you can also become a legal prostitute, apparently. And the legal age of consent in the UK is 16, not 12.
So how
Chloe was in the town center and was identified as a missing child by a police officer who questioned where she had been. Chloe told this police officer about the full extent of the abuse, and the response of the police officer was that nothing could be done, and Chloe was let go. In response to her truancy and deteriorating behavior, the school regularly placed Chloe in isolation and compelled her to attend additional...
All right, real question. So, like, UK people, you guys have really high taxes and shit, right? Like, your taxes are really, really high. And your police are really, really crazy. Like, they lock up people for saying, you know, slurs and stuff like that online. But you're telling me that they don't care about this stuff? They'll lock your ass up for making your dog do a freaking Roman, but then, like, they're like, oh, grape gangs? I don't know anything about that. Wait, are you serious? Fluffy, thank you for the 100. 250,000 victims, conservative estimate, each victim suffering dozens, hundreds of souls for decades. Arslan, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you. Guys, I think, you know, I think Malcolm was right about taking over Europe. What do you think, chat? I think Malcolm has a point.
After school classes every day. This did little to improve her emotional state, and she continued to spend time with her friend and her friend's boyfriend. This went on for a number of years. The boyfriend would simply supply...
Did you guys hear the news, by the way, about how everyone in Europe thinks that the United States is an unlivable shithole, and then it's awful and terrible, and it's like the worst country? Did you guys hear about that? And then the World Cup happened, and then they all came over here, and they were like, wait a minute, this place is awesome. Guys hear about that? And they're like posting on fucking Instagram and shit. Like, oh man, like America is so fucking awesome, dude. What the hell? Like, dude. Oh, yeah. And it's because you know, I experienced the same thing personally as well. I can tell you like my own personal story of this. My aunt, my aunt from Japan. She thought the same thing. And then I was like, where are you getting this from? Right. And so like I asked my aunt, I said, where are you getting this from? And apparently they only get CNN. So like imagine the rest of the world just gets fucking CNN. Like their entire view of America is fucking CNN. Yeah, yeah, and that's what's going on too in Europe. So like everyone in Europe thinks that like America is burning down, like you know that is in some places, but like everywhere, and then like everywhere is just like racism and everything. This is what they think. And they think that everything is fucked, right? And then they came over here for the World Cup and they were like, wow, actually kind of awesome. You know, let's watch a video on that after this. Dylan, thank you so much for the 200, by the way. Carolyn Vegetable for the 100. Texas barbecue turns everyone to American believers. Dude, I heard that they were singing like American songs and shit at bars, and like they were like, this is so awesome.
The girls with alcohol.
Rhonda says, oh my god, have you seen the reaction of Americans to Japanese fans? Like they didn't want any of them to leave because of how amazing they are. Epstein, yeah, exactly. All they talk about in like foreign media is celebrities and Epstein and Donald Trump being shit. That's like all they talk about, right? And then racism and all of the isms and like, you know, nobody has health care and all this shit. That's all they talk about.
And drugs, as well as in introducing them to his friends who were exclusively
the Japanese
South
fans
Asian
cleaned up
men.
after themselves. Yeah, I mean,
he
it's
took the
typical.
girls to his place of work, a textiles factory where he raped Chloe. Following this incident,
yeah, these systems get worse. Also, why do you think the media hasn't talked about this? They don't want Hitler to Muslim Boogaloo. Because it exposes how incompetent they are. Right, it exposes their sheer incompetence.
Stopped spending time with the friend, a factory where he raped Chloe. Following this incident, Chloe stopped spending time with the friend who, up until this point, had accompanied her throughout her exploitation. By this time, Chloe had become so accustomed to her lifestyle of spending time with the Muslim gangs that she continued to do so without her friend. On one occasion, following another late return home, her mother grounded her for 2 months. Fearing further abuse from her stepfather, Chloe walked to a nearby social services office while her mother was at work and reported the Chloe was interviewed by the social workers about the abuse, after which her mother and stepfather were arrested and questioned. Both denied that the abuse was taking place and were released without charges. So you can very much just go into a police station, lie, they believe it, and you leave. I can't believe this. It seems like the police know that there's a sex pest gang comprised of Indian men operating in this town, and they don't want to touch it. In fact, they've probably been instructed not to touch it. These two, this rapist and the enabler, her mom and stepfather, were brought in for questioning. They lied, and the police went, oh, okay. They didn't want to investigate or pursue. Chloe made further appeals to social services.
Crazy.
By the way, as someone who's actually been involved with social services recently, they are useless. Chloe made further appeals to social services and was eventually removed from the house and placed in foster care. She lived with a couple who cared for several other foster children, and though she found them snobby and judgmental, found some...
You're better off taking your money and like digging a hole and dumping your money in the hole and then lighting it on fire. You're like better off doing that than giving it to the government in like a lot of cases.
Semblance of stability with them, but it did not last long. She was still living in the same town, so when she went...
I'm serious. Like, what would you rather do? Real question. What would you rather do? Would you rather dig a pit, put your money in the pit, light it on fire, or would you rather have it go to LGBT theater plays in like Afghanistan? Like, I would rather burn the money. Yeah, I'd rather burn it. Yeah, at least it'll help with inflation, right?
Town center, as she often did, both alone and with the foster carers, the Muslim gangs would recognize and target her. She remained at the same school, and because she now lived further away, the foster carers paid for taxis to take her there. She would ask the taxi drivers to drop her near the school, and rather than attending, would walk to one of the neighborhoods where Muslim gangs spent their time. The gangs would take her into their taxis, ply her with drugs and alcohol, and sexually abuse her. This was all at the age of 12. She's now 13 here. Chloe disclosed to social services that she was being sexually abused by gangs of Muslim men. In response, social services did not intervene. I believe that. But rather
How much you want to bet they were like, well, I don't know if we could talk about this because if we do, it's going to make the Muslims look really bad. And we don't want to start any racism. We don't want to start a racism, do we? That's probably like how they said it too. Like exactly like that.
talk to Chloe about contraception and sexual health. A 13-year-old. At least when you're being raped by these men, sweetie, make sure you wrap it up. In response, they did not intervene, but rather, acknowledging that she was being raped, advised her to use contraception and to be mindful of things like sexual health. One social worker started regularly taking Chloe to a sexual health clinic where she was diagnosed with chlamydia in her throat and vagina, gonorrhea, genital warts, and pelvic inflammatory disease. Neither the social workers nor the clinic staff questioned or reported this.
You know how we can solve this, chat? I'm telling you, we can solve this. All we have to do is just stop welfare. If we stop welfare, it starves off all of these people, to be honest. Like, we could do that. The problem with okay, here's the problem with any sort of anarchy strat, right? Anarchy strat might seem really, really appealing, but the problem with an anarchy strat is like then it becomes socially acceptable. Like you're setting a precedent that, and this is the problem with humans, is that they'll just use it as a precedent to do it in the future for like less things. So it's like I would like to avoid the nuclear option, to be honest. I understand, like I get it. I know why you feel that way. It's because it doesn't seem like anything's gonna get fucking fixed. It doesn't seem like they're even trying at all. Lampposts and rope. Well, I mean, like, all they have to do to stop this from, guys, and like, I know, I sound like a broken record at this point. I keep saying it. All you have to do is control incentive. If you control incentive, you control everything. How do they not know this? I'm not that smart. I'm really not that smart. It's like, how am I outstratting like all of these government people? It doesn't make any sense. This should not be the case. Right? All you have to do is to control incentive and you control everything, right? If you just take these people and they do this thing and you lock them up in jail as hard as possible, I don't know, fucking commit a slavery or something. Make them do hard labor like in the jail because of what they did, right? I don't really care at this point. Right? And it's like all we gotta do is actually have there be consequences which will change the incentive. Again, welfare is another thing. Do you think everyone would fucking come here if there wasn't welfare? They're like, oh, there's all this free shit over there. Maybe we should go become refugees. We get a bunch of free shit. Dude, if we just stop that, it cuts off the incentive from people that come here. Here or Europe, wherever the hell, all over the West, right? Ragnar, thank you for the 100. Why would the left institution stop this? Is what they wanted from the start. No, I know. Yuri Bezmenov. Listen, I too am a Yuri Bezmenov enjoyer, Ragnar. It's just this is all so obvious, man. You know what's annoying is this isn't even just the leftist too. I'm gonna be real. A lot of this is Republicans. They did this too. The Republicans also did this. Uncle D, thank you so much for Thank you so much for this. And thank you, Mike Hawk, for the 100. They didn't want to. Dude, this is why, Trump was such a godsend. Can you imagine, like, not having Trump? Not having Trump and Elon Musk? Oh, my God, dude. If we didn't have Trump and Elon Musk, it'd be so bad. It'd be so freaking bad, dude. Oh, my God. Can you imagine not having Twitter? I know, dude. We were so close to fuck. Asmongold, too. Man, fuck.
The police were aware of Chloe's activities, but instead of targeting those responsible for her abuse, they routinely failed to question, let alone pursue further action.
Dude, I guarantee you none of this shit would happen if we locked up all of those people that did this. We locked them up the maximum possible, and then we locked up the police too. What do you think, chat? That's all we have to do. If we do that, it solves all of this. Elon buying X was the key. I totally agree with you, Gabagool. Thank you so much for the sub. Thank you.
When Chloe was found in cars and houses with them, Chloe was soon moved to a different foster placement with a far more protective carer. On one occasion, a gang came to the foster home searching for Chloe in these rabid animals, and the carer fought them in the street to protect her. Around the time Chloe turned 14, a social worker approached her about her ongoing sexual exploitation. This was one of the first times this had happened, and Chloe was relieved that her abuse was finally being addressed. However, rather than offering a solution, the social worker instead told Chloe that the producers of Emmerdale were looking for a young actress to play the victim of a child sexual exploitation, and asked whether she would be interested in auditioning for the role given her spirit.
What the fuck? Excuse me?
Dale were looking for a young actress to play the victim of a child sexual exploitation, and asked whether she would be interested in auditioning for the role given her experience. Are you serious? I can't believe this to be real. I want you to imagine, I want you to truly grasp how unbelievably sad it is that a girl lost her father. He died. He took good care of her, and he died. That's already tragic enough. Your immediate next experience of life at the age of 10 is to be raped by your mom's new boyfriend or new husband. She's 10 years old. She's meant to be playing outside with her friends, going to the park, developing a little bit of independence,
Yeah, you can't
being
go to the fucking
guided
park
to
anymore.
early adulthood, the young adulthood. She's meant to be assured every step of the way when her body starts.
Chat, if you have a family, or when you do have a family, you need to get the fuck away from these places. Like any of these places that have like Democrat control, or any of these places that like a city or anything like that, you need to get the fuck away, because it is just so fucked.
That's to change. She's meant to be going on family vacations where she hangs out with her cousins, brothers and sisters, Saturday morning cartoons, cereal, that kind of thing. And all she's ever known
You target
is
the poor
rape
class you
and
can't.
betrayal, substance abuse, and constant unending failure of
I'm gonna be honest, I don't buy it. I know it sounds harsh, but I don't buy it. People back in the days, they took literally whatever they had and they went to like a new place, like a new fucking country in the middle with only what was on their body and the fucking couple coins in their pocket. I don't fucking buy it, man. Yeah. The whole like, well, I couldn't do anything. Like it's so, dude.
Who the fuck is
You know,
Leaflit?
honestly, you know what? If you say I can't do anything because I'm fucked because I don't have money, well, you know what? Fair enough. You're probably fucked. If that's actually what you think, if that's actually how you feel about it, thank you, Apple Gothic. Thank you so much.
every single adult in her life. The most impressionable, most vulnerable moment in a girl's life, in a kid's life, is when you transition from being a child into being a teenager. It's an incredibly volatile time in
That's like my new stance, by the way, is when people tell me that, when people are like, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Because it's true. Because once a person's mental is just cracked like that, it's over, basically. There's literally nothing you can do about it. You're just cooked.
everyone's lives. Where
It's like a waste of
support is
effort
meant
to
be
try
the
to convince them.
primary thing, where love and understanding is meant to be the thing that's there for you to help guide you through this.
At this point, if you're living in cities, you're financially supporting this bullshit. Fuck you, unless you take your $5 and get out. The problem, I'm gonna be honest, is that people nowadays cannot handle any hardship at all. Like nothing. Like people are fucking cowards. Like they're just cowards. Like now, yeah, people nowadays are cowards. They don't want to take any risks. They don't want any hardship. They're just, but it's so hard, bro. Like I can't do it. I don't have any money, bro. It's just constant excuses and bitching, dude. Like all the time. Don't bring your weird shit to my rural paradise. You know what? A good point, Hucktees, is if that's your mentality, then just stay there, right? Am I right, Hucktees? Drew and Drake, thank you for the 1,000. People might be surprised to learn that the UK's so-called Conservative Party started all of this. People voted for Brexit to take control of the country's borders, and the first thing the Conservatives was open the borders. Mike Hawk, thank you for the 100 bits. Blood will run through the streets like these barbaric subhumans must pay for everything enabled. His will be first, man. This is so fucked, man. Supersonic, thank you for the 145. Asmongold has been reading the inquiry for the past 8 hours. I don't know how he stayed up reading all of that. To be honest, it's quite rough. I'm gonna have to watch it later myself.
Primary thing where I'm in everyone's lives, where support is meant to be the primary thing, where love and understanding is meant to be the thing that's there for you to help guide you through this, and instead everyone's just raping her. Following this exchange, Chloe upset and angry and in a state of disbelief, as you would be, ran away from the foster home and, after being abducted by a Muslim gang, was missing for 6 months. Over this period, she was trafficked across the length and breadth of Britain. She was taken to house after house, raped and abused by guy after guy after guy. The men who abused her paid money to the gang, which treated her as little more than a commodity. She was
But hey, look on the bright side. At least you have government health care. And curry. You have curry too. Wow.
reported missing and her photograph was shown on TV. Her abusers remarked on this, "You're that girl off the TV that's..." But her whereabouts were never reported to the police. Chloe describes a cycle of grooming, rape, and drug and alcohol abuse. This went on until eventually she was located by the police. When the police found her, she was in a car with a South Asian Muslim man. That man was let go without charge. She was returned to her mother's house. Chloe's relationship with her mother had completely broken down by this point, so she continued to run away, and her psychological state deteriorated.
I'm just being real. Can we do something about this, Mom? How is this happening? Like, can we do something about this?
Further, following another period of grooming and sexual exploitation by a Muslim gang,
Blame
Chloe
her?
was
Yeah, I
taken into
can.
police custody.
Yeah, I can. What do you mean can't blame her? I can blame her, yeah.
And transported to a secure unit at a children's home. She describes the home as being like a prison, every aspect.
Why do women get a pass all the time from this shit? I'm just being real. Like, imagine if it was a dad. Imagine if there was a dad and the dad was like letting like his wife like pimp out like his kid to like random people to get like, you know, to get graped. And imagine if they were just letting like grape cans grape their kid. Do you think that everyone would be like, oh no, like I can't really blame the dad? No, the dad would be in fucking jail. Are you kidding me? It's like women get like this fucking retarded pass. Am I wrong? Like, this keeps happening. Oh, but she's in such a bad situation. You can't really blame her. No, I can blame her.
Of her life was controlled and surveilled, and she was routinely subjected to bodily examinations, including full cavity searches. Chloe found the experience highly traumatic. She remained there for 9 months, by which time she was almost 15. Social services did...
Big Noise Smoker says she walked in on her daughter getting raped and then walked out and closed the door. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Term that she was well enough to be released, and she was placed in foster care not far from where she had been living before. Chloe describes the new carers as a positive and encouraging presence in her life, and in spite of her proximity to...
Stop saying graped. On the internet, if you say the uncensored one, you can get banned. Yeah, I know, hard to understand. Clarm, thank you so much for the bits. Thank you. These men specifically target families with no men to retaliate.
To the sites of her abuse and exploitation, Chloe found stability.
How
and security
ridiculous
living...
is it? It's stupid as hell. It's retarded as hell. I wish you could just say whatever, honestly. I would go off if I could.
With them. She enrolled in a full-time hairdressing and beauty course at a nearby college. The next 2 years, Chloe describes her life as fantastic. As Chloe approached her 18th birthday...
You get to go full on Nigeria versus Germany, you know?
Social services notified her that the foster care would soon end. They identified a house for her, and after parting ways with her carer, she moved in and got a retail job to support herself. Despite having little experience taking care of herself, Chloe's life remained generally stable through this period. Eventually, Chloe re-established contact with the friend with whom she had been abused with as a young child. She invited her over to her house. When she arrived, she was accompanied by a group of Muslim men, all of whom remembered Chloe from past. Immediately, Chloe's life was thrown back into chaos. The men refused to leave, and in Chloe's words, it was no longer my quiet little house. It was their house. They smashed windows, kicked in doors, left the house an absolute wreck, and sexually abused Chloe. One of the men, a previous abuser, pinned her down. The house an absolute... No longer my quiet little house. It was their house. They smashed windows, kicked in doors, left...
What is a fucking... What is this? What is this monkey shit? What? What do you mean? What do you mean smashing windows in the house? Like, what the fuck is this?
It was no longer my quiet little house. It was their house. They smashed windows, kicked in doors, left the house an absolute wreck, and sexually abused Chloe. One of the men, a previous abuser, pinned her down, pulled her trousers down, and sat on her face, orally raping her on her own sofa as the rest of the gang watched. Chloe returned to drugs and alcohol to cope. Though she was still working in retail, her ability to work was rapidly declining. During one shift, one of her colleagues, someone she was friends with, jokingly pinched her bottom. Chloe, traumatized by the year's abuse, punched him in the face in the middle of the shop. She was brought before management, tried to argue her case, but was fired. Left with no income, Chloe spiraled further. The Muslim gang was still occupying her house, and with nowhere else to go and no ability to remove them, she remained there with them. They routinely drugged, used, and
Thank you for the 100 dubs and subs. Thank you so much, Leaf. Did you know statistically women are more abusive to children than men are? I have heard that.
raped her, including with objects, including soft drink cans, keys, and a baseball bat. Before long,
What?
they started to pay her bills to consolidate their presence in her home. On a number of occasions, they brought young children. Chloe recalls a number of occasions when boys under the age of 18 from Muslim communities.
I'm telling you guys, round them all up, round them all up, put them in a plane, parachutes, kick them out, island, battle royale, Hunger Games. That's what we need. We need to be entertained from their suffering.
From the Muslim
Yeah,
community.
the parachute is so that they can land on the island, and then they had to find guns so that they can shoot each other.
They were pressured and bullied by their older friends and relatives into raping her. Chloe was forced to commit crimes, including insurance fraud and the holding of drugs. On one occasion, she contacted the police to report an assault that was taking place in her house, and when they arrived, Chloe was threatened with arrest rather than the gang members, as the property was registered in her name. One evening, an associate of the gang from a neighboring town arrived at the house, a notorious sex trafficker. He soon began taking Chloe to bars and nightclubs.
Thank you, Manya, by the way, for the 500 on Kick. How did we get through to the normies, NPCs of this world? Everyone with my immediate workplace is clueless. How do we get through to the normies, NPCs of this world? Spell casting. You gotta spell cast them. That's really it. You gotta consider them to be they're like zombies, basically. You have to like control them with spell casting. It's like the only way.
Was a notorious sex trafficker.
Thank you.
He soon began taking Chloe to bars and nightclubs in the surrounding area. There, he would spike her with heroin before handing her over to men who sexually assaulted and raped her. Chloe became addicted to opiates, as you would if you were exposed to heroin, and her health deteriorated rapidly. She became anorexic, weighing just 5 stone at the age of 18. Hell. The use of heroin was a method of control by the gang, as it left her with no ability to defend herself physically. Her daily existence became a relentless cycle of rape, exploitation, and violence. Eventually, a social worker visited Chloe and was shocked by both her appearance and the conditions in which she was living. Concerned for her welfare, she took Chloe and was
What the fuck? I don't want to hear shit about pounds and feet and yards. I don't want to hear shit when you guys are using fucking stones. What's up, Apel?
Concerned for her welfare, she took Chloe to an addiction clinic where tests revealed an extremely high concentration of opiates in her system. Chloe was prescribed medication to manage her opioid dependency and gradually weaned herself off the drugs. Around this time, Chloe reconnected with a childhood friend, and their friendship soon developed into a romantic relationship. Her boyfriend became aware of the ongoing abuse, and with the help of his father, paid off Chloe's remaining rent and moved her out of her squalid house. Chloe moved in with him, after which she got another job in retail. For a short period, Chloe's life was relatively stable, but due to her unresolved trauma, she soon returned to drinking heavily, smoking cannabis, and gambling. Her workplace was close to her first foster home, and before long, she came back into contact with members of the gang that had abused her at that time. The cycle of grooming, exploitation, and abuse soon resumed. Her relationship with her boyfriend broke down, and out of desperation, she reestablished contact with her mother, who had left her predatory husband and soon moved back in with her. One night, Chloe was out with members of the gang and drinking heavily. Upon her return to her mother's house, her mother reported her to the police. The police arrested Chloe while she was changing into her pajamas. She was taken to the police station drunk and half naked. She was kept in a cell until 2 a.m. the following morning, at which point she was released. They did not provide her with any clothes or transportation back to her mother's house. She tried to contact her ex-boyfriend, but he did not respond. Chloe, then 19, was left stranded, and she wandered around the neighborhood for several hours before encountering, you guessed it, a gang member who had previously abused her. Cold and desperate, she got into his car, and for the following weeks was trafficked across the country. Eventually, Chloe identified a new house to move into. Despite their dysfunctional relationship, her mother agreed to sign the rental agreement as Chloe's guarantor, as Chloe, then without income, knew she would not be able to afford the rent. After she moved in, she became aware of the fact that she was the only white British person in her neighborhood. Every other resident was South Asian. As a result, the gangs discovered where she was living and once again treated her house as if it was their own. The cycle of abuse continued, and Chloe's emotional state deteriorated significantly. Chloe was taken to hospital after a suicide attempt, and while there, she discovered that she was pregnant. The father of the child, a Pakistani Muslim illegal migrant, moved into Chloe's home. Chloe was subsequently coerced into converting to Islam and forced into marriage, both to legitimize the pregnancy in the eyes of her abuser and to assist him in securing a visa. Piece of shit. Chloe's behavior became tightly controlled. She was forced to wear a hijab. She was prohibited from looking out the windows of her home, and if she misbehaved in the eyes of her husband, he would beat her black and blue, something that happened every day. Chloe's child was born with multiple health problems, including a defective kidney due to the deteriorated condition of Chloe's womb as a result of the sexual abuse. Nevertheless, becoming a mother gave Chloe a renewed determination to get her life back on track. She reported the father of her child to the police after he assaulted the child, and he was removed from the property. She stopped taking drugs. She was focused, and for the first time, the gangs left her alone to raise a Pakistani kid. Not even a British kid, a Pakistani kid. One evening, she went out with a friend who lived across the road. Chloe, now a mother, did not drink heavily, but her friend became heavily intoxicated. A group of Asian men started speaking to them, offered to take Chloe and her friend home. Chloe was suspicious of them, but for the sake of her friend, agreed. Instead of taking them home, however, they were taken to a hotel. Chloe was not drunk, protested, and encouraged her friend, who was paralytic, which is a British term, to leave with her. Chloe warned her friend about what she suspected was going to happen, but her friend refused to leave. Chloe, thinking of her daughter and seeking to protect herself, reluctantly left without her. The following day, Chloe's friend told Chloe that she had been raped by the man. This incident represented a turning point in Chloe's life. She decided that she needed to leave her hometown for good and get as far away from these Asian men as possible. By chance, she reconnected on Facebook with a man she had known in her early childhood, an old colleague of her mother.
Wait, how many of them are? How many reports are there?
Never harmed me or treated me badly. She told him about everything she had been through and her desire to leave. He lived in Scotland, and she was invited to visit him for the weekend, which she did. After returning home, she sought support from Women's Aid, who managed to secure her property in Scotland. With nothing but her daughter and a small bag, she left her hometown, leaving a lifetime of abuse.
Wait, how is the bald man gonna read them all?
Exploitation behind, and moved to Scotland, where she resides to this day. Chloe personally knows at least 20 other girls from her area who were predated on by the Muslim gangs who abused her. The pattern was always the same: grooming, drugging, trafficking, abuse, and rape. Furthermore, Chloe described being taken into mosques where imams would describe non-Muslims as infidels and preach that white women who dressed inappropriately were free game. That's every mosque, not just the one she went to. That's all of them. This is what they think of you. Chloe believes that the local police, social services, NHS, and government were all fully aware of what was happening, including the racialized nature of the crimes, but they did not intervene for two reasons: because they could not be bothered with the paperwork and because they did not want to be seen as racist. Chloe blames these bodies and their major push for diversity for her abuse. Chloe says that if I can save just even one more child, girl or boy, from going through any of this, then I've done my job. Inquiry panelist, do you know how many men abused you over that period if you had to guess? Chloe, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Now, tomorrow we're going to cover Fiona. I know tomorrow's my day off, but this is important. I don't know about you guys, but that was incredibly tough. It was very, very tough to get through. This diversity that Keir Starmer keeps talking about, it's worth all this. His votes. Sadiq Khan's votes.
What do we even get from it?
It's worth all of this.
No. Has anybody even asked that? What do we even get from the diversity? What do we get from it? What is this? Well, it's just the cost that we need to pay for diversity. Well, why do we even want diversity? What do we get from it? For what?
Worth all of this. The hundreds and hundreds of men that violated this girl's body from the impressionable age of 10 years old. The diversity, the votes that Keir Starmer relies
curry,
on.
I keep saying you can just make it yourself. I can make curry.
Green Party rely on. That Sadiq Khan relies on. It's worth her being raped like this. It's about to get worse. It's one thing to be physically assaulted. It's one thing to be sexually assaulted once in this manner. It's another thing to be sexually assaulted maybe over 1,000 times over a period of about 8 years. And every single time you try to report it, it gets completely ignored. In fact, it gets enabled further. And we're going to pick this up again tomorrow. We are on page
that is so
31
freaking
of
annoying, dude.
219. We're not going to get through the entire thing. We are going to get through these key aspects here, primarily the victim testimonies, because we need to hear this. Everybody does. Aspects of it will be put into videos so that the algorithm can push what has been done to these women and other people can know about it.
Yeah, you know, you can just bro, that thumbnail, man. Oh my god. Oh my god, 250k victims plus the families plus people trying to stop it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, this is crazy. I don't really have any faith that it's gonna be fixed, to be honest. I think they're too incompetent. I don't think they can fix it, honestly. I think they're just too stupid. That's like just my take, you know? I don't think you can do anything about it. I think it's over. Like, they need to just never give these people power. I think it's all about enacting a melting pot. Like, why, though? Who cares about the melting pot? What do I get from the melting pot? What do you get from it? What are the benefits? Can we, like, do a cost-benefit analysis of this so-called melting pot? They aren't too dumb to fix it. They're, if they were dumb, sometimes they would get stuff right. I guess that's true. You know what? That's a good point. That's a good point. If they're dumb, why do they never get anything right? You're so right.